issue, listener status.
Okay, I haven't mounted no mount.
It's normal. Do listener CTL reload.
So listener
CTL
reload.
Yeah, reload. LOAD. Okay, enter. And then listener CTL status again. Can you use the up the arrow?
Okay. Up arrow.
Yes. Okay. Try to connect back to Arman again. I think the problem is when you try to connect to Arman, right?
Yeah.
Okay, connect to Arman. Let's see again.
Okay, let me go back and start the ORCL3 no mount.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, let me make sure I deleted SP file.
Okay. Actually, you should have done that before.
Yeah, I did that so many times.
Oh, okay. Yeah, delete the SP file.
There you go.
And then shut down the instance and then start up again.
Which instance?
Oh, did I already? The ORCL3.
ORCL3.
Shut it down again because it used that SP file.
Okay.
So you want to shut it down and start up no mount again. Okay. Okay. Okay, so you cannot even connect to the first one. You cannot even connect to ORCL itself. And you cannot connect to ORCL3 either. So the problem here, let's try to first deal with ORCL. Can you go back to TNS name and check ORCL first?
Okay, so TNS name?
Yes, TNS name of ORCL because it says error from target. The target here is ORCL.
ORCL.
Yes.
Okay, so
TNS, okay, check network admin TNS name.
The question. I saw no command the Herman the database for the catalog is the ORCL3.
Okay. TNS, one moment. TNS ping ORCL, just ORCL. What did you say?
I don't think you don't have a password file for ORCL3. I didn't see one.
I do. I think I do.
First with ORCL itself.
Oh, okay, all right. Let me do this then.
TNS ORCL. Yes.
Let me check here, Anita.
He has the password file. It's
no.
Not for the
RPW.
Oh yeah, you do. You have it up there.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Without using the other one, can you just issue Arman, connect to ORCL and just issue Arman target /base/. I want to see if you can actually connect to ORCL itself.
So you say Arman?
No, connect to Are you connected to ORCL right now?
Let me share. No. So you say Arman?
Yes. Target space slash. Not started. Okay, that's the problem. ORCL is shut down.
Shut down.
Cannot
Right.
connect. The database is shut down. So start up ORCL and it should be, the problem should be resolved. Well, as you can see, you guys know how to fix that. I already know, so you can do it. Okay.
Let me do for control 052 because sometimes
Okay.
that's the same thing. Oh, all right. So,
Connect to Arman. Yep. Okay. Good. Typo.
oh, 9. Check. Okay. Check.
Okay, I think you're good. You should work fine. Oh. Okay. Copied control file copy, finish restore, Oracle error from the target database. Okay, can you scroll up? Can you scroll up? Okay, can you scroll down a little? Scroll down. Okay, from here, try to scroll down a little bit fast, slower. Okay, starting restore. Okay, scroll down. Okay, stop here. Error from target database. It shut down the database. Scroll down. Starting restore. Scroll down. Okay. Did you have that error before?
Yes.
Okay. DNS
Yes.
of
Yeah, the
service
same. Right. Same error.
not connected to Oracle. Error occur in store script memory. Okay, let's go and check the P file.
All right. Okay, it's right here.
Hit orcl3.org. Something is wrong with that SP file.
You have to change the locations of your control files.
You mean?
Yeah, my /oradata/myctl. Yeah, you
Yeah.
didn't.
Because the previous question asked to
To multiplex, but
Just
Arman is gonna take charge of like reading it from the live
okay.
location.
Aman will create. You can just rename them or put them in ORCL3.
Oh, okay. Oh. It looks good, right?
Yes.
Okay, how about down here?
It's good. Down there is good. That's why I started looking. It's fine.
Okay. So I can close it?
Yes. Don't forget to delete the SP file.
Oh yeah. I gotta do it again. SP.
What did you do? ORCL is shut down, right? Because
Is it shut down? Oh,
because it crashed it.
sorry. I didn't.
Yes. Oh, now I see why. Because since you didn't remove the okay, it created the control file for the other database, so that's why it crashed ORCL. So your ORCL3 was going to get created normally, right? But your ORCL is crashed.
Oh, yes, down.
So don't even bother doing startup.
Yeah,
Just
it won't work.
4 and 5. Yes.
Okay. No.
You don't have it?
I want to copy the control.
Yes. If you can find, I think you should have it somewhere before. Try to scroll up again. You copied them before, right?
Yeah.
So just, oh, it doesn't go all the way up.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Editor slash RTM slash control 01
Slash or data.
Yeah, I just want to copy.
Okay. But they're not there though. Logically, they are not located there. They're located in RDO, right?
What? Control 4?
Yeah, let me check. Let me get happy with the. Yeah, they should be in slash already slash 201 slash my RDO.
Yeah, yeah.
Or no, my CTL,
My CTN.
Yeah. So
Oh,
slash
okay. Yes, slash. You're right.
slash already that slash my CTL. Okay. Okay. Okay, now run it again. This time it should be good, hopefully.
Emerald, while this is doing that, I have a question. So when you're doing a duplication, right, and then you want the default backup location to be somewhere, you have to mention that in your P file, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So you mean on the P file, instead of our data/FRA, we should remove the FRA and put whatever location we want to put?
Yes, if you're doing a duplication, yes.
Okay.
Oh, it has to be under FRA though, because FRA has enough space.
It's our data that has space,
I mean,
not
yeah, right. Our data, yes. Okay.
Someone has been reading the prep exam assignment.
I have a few questions about that actually.
Good.
Again.
Okay, this is a new one.
So, and you guys remember from last class, when you send it to /data/FRA, right, in the files recovery area, Arman will automatically create subdirectories for the database. But for log archive destination, Arman will not create subdirectories for that. So there is a question, I think it's question, one of the question where it says like switch it back to the original for the assignment, prep exam.
Yeah. Patrick,
Yeah.
please, could you open one of your P files, please?
Okay, let me see.
Which one, Anita?
Whichever. I just wanted to see where she's talking about. Any P file.
Okay.
That's fine. So where the FRA right there, that's where you put the destination, right?
And other, but for archive log destination, log archive desk, you would also edit it back. But if you want the archive log destination to still be in the same directory, then you would need to create another subdirectory. We're good? Because Arman wouldn't create it for you. But for the DB recovery file destination, Arman would create a subdirectory. Are we good?
Okay, yes.
So Patrick, let's go. Let's see your Arman. What does it say? Failure of backup command. Okay, data file copy complete. Failure of duplicate command. Error occur in stored memory script. Failure of backup command. Oracle error returned by remote Oracle server. Okay, can you make it? I'm trying to see when that issue started. Can you scroll up a little bit? Okay, before that, everything is fine, right?
Yes.
Okay, so scroll down. Data file copy complete. Data file copy complete. Which data file was not copied? Users.
Did you delete all your files in ORCL3 before doing that?
There were nothing.
There was nothing?
No, there was nothing.
Okay, can you scroll down, please? It's the copy, data file copy complete. Okay, the data file copy of users was complete. Now it's the step coming after the copy of users. That's where we're having an issue. Error message failure of duplicate comment. Error occurred in installing my script. Okay, let's go and check in your audit alert log.
Okay.
Let's check.
You mean the TNS alert log or
RDBMS
Okay.
or RCL3. Trace. Alert. Scroll down, all the way down. Let's see what happened, because I cannot guess what happened here. Okay, unable to log file already in use. Okay, let's see. This is the right time. Okay, successful man already. Okay, completed update. Error in file /01 RDBMS or RCL trace. Failed to identify /ORA data. Okay, there is a file that you switched to copy and you didn't map it. You have a file in /ORA data that belongs to ORCL and you didn't remap it. So let's go and fix your P file. Let's go. Yep, you have a. That's important. Always report schema. Let's report schema before even going to the P file. Report schema from Arman for ORCL.
Say from ORCL?
Yes, you can report schema from here since it's the target. Okay. You see you have some file in /ORA data. So you want to add it in your P file. Yes, add it in your P file. You only have one file, which is weird. But okay, you have one file in ORC in /ORA data, so you need to edit your P file.
Where do you see that? I don't see that. Which file?
1127.
It's 1120. Oh.
Can he rename it? Does he have to like add it?
Oh, this one. Okay.
Practice.
The directory is not the same as a
Right,
database
yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Right, you're right.
Location.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there are two. You can rename it, or you can edit the P file. But it's good for practice.
Right, let me edit the P file there.
But why that one is like that? Why is name is not?
You switched it.
Oh,
So delete that. If you have it.
All right.
SP file.
SP file 3. I mean, ORCL 3, right?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Edit.
so you have to add ORA data there on the first or
Over here.
yeah, that one.
Okay.
It's fine. You can just copy what you did. /ORA data. You can just copy that.
No. Oh,
Down on from log file name, convert the second set.
that's for you. Just
Okay, comma. Okay, this one.
Yes, from /ORA data. All the and the next one as well.
Okay, next one. Okay, I see.
Yes. So you can just copy that, and you're good. Okay. Now don't forget to delete your.
SP file.
Right. Thank you.
and you have to remove everything in your ORA data.
ORA data. Remove the file.
Yeah,
No,
delete
or
Which one?
/Euler/ORCL3.
Oh. I don't think there's nothing over there.
Yeah, there. They were just created.
Ah, yeah.
Read all.
I guess I highlight everything, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Oh yeah, they were created. All right, do it again. Okay. Oh.
Why don't you shut down our board?
Thank you, Natu.
Vamos pegar database.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Everything good, 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 good.
It looks like so far.
Yeah. It's gonna work this time. Perfect. We're done. Problem solved. Auto database clone reset logs. Database we had so many problems. Solve this one, come to this
Yeah,
one.
man.
This one, come to this one. Try.
All right. Thanks so much.
Good.
Thanks so much, everyone.
At least now you can solve whatever problem that comes up.
So just to recap a little bit, so my first mistake was to add because I multiplex a control file, and that whatever that directory was, I added on the P file.
Yeah, cool. I mean, you remember what we did in DB1, where, you know, when we're cloning, you have to change those other locations. You have to change back, and then after that, you copy the live locations.
Right.
But then Arman does it for us this time.
So what was the purpose of doing the multiplexing? Because that was a previous question.
Practice.
It's just an exercise, though. Just practice. Multiplex, but
You could have multiplex. You didn't have to put the files back to ORCL/ORCL3. You could just have renamed them. Like they could have renamed /ORAData/MyCTL, but they had to have a different name because two control files, one control file cannot be part of two databases, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. Because when it was creating, it did create the control files for ORCL3, but the problem is that it crashed ORCL because the database, the control files of ORCL were now belonging to ORCL3.
True. Yeah.
So you have to change the name of the control files. One control can be part of two databases at the same time. One of the two will be crashed.
Okay.
We good?
So just to be sure, he could have just changed 4 and 5 to 6 and 7, and he could have been fine.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And also because it went through, and then at a certain point, I think system 01 was 511, something like that.
Yes, it was in the wrong. You didn't remap it in the control file.
Control file.
Yes, in the P file. I'm sorry, you didn't remap.
File.
It wasn't remapped by using the DB file name convert parameter. So that's the
right. So I guess it's important to check schema. What's the name again?
Report schema.
Report schema.
report schema is very important.
To look to see where the all the directories point to.
Exactly.
All the file. Okay. Thanks so much.
Okay, so we are going to finish with, I'm going to need ID. We're going to do flashback. Just finish with all the different types of flashback.
173.
Oracle. No, you need to change your password. Don't forget to change your password.
Uh-huh.
Don't forget to change your password.
Me or everybody?
Emerald,
I
must
do.
everyone change his or her password? I don't understand.
She needs to change her password for Oracle because some people like to come into other people's and
You're breaking up, Emerald.
it does happen. Okay.
We didn't hear you,
happened-
Mero. We didn't hear you.
So
Say
it does.
it again, please. It was breaking up.
I'm saying that last time I told you guys that, but I was kind of joking, but I wasn't joking actually. I was just saying it in like, but it does happen. Some people go into other people's server and hack, and it always.
Oh, she's gone again.
Emerald, we can't hear you again.
So it happened to one of my classmates. Someone installed 10G. He already had 10G, so it crashed his 11G. Hear me?
You're breaking. You're breaking. Emerald, check your connection.
Yeah.
She's gone.
Yeah, I think she gonna reconnect. Try to reconnect.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know. Something happened with my network. So I was saying that last time I know we were kind of joking about it, but it's serious. I know some people might blame others, but it's not real. But it does happen. People do hack into people's server just to experiment, right? It might be people who already work. A student number, and they would just do whatever experiment they want to do. And if they crash it, they would just act like they didn't do anything. So it does happen. It has happened for a while. It happened to one of my classmates. And we were like stuck trying to figure out what happened. And then it's only when I found out that he actually had one other software, like the whole software installed, and it crashed his energy software, it crashed his 12C, so it crashed a lot of things in the database. So make sure you change your password. It's not just for fashion purpose. I'm going to use TLSDMO. So Mary, make sure you change it.
Yeah,
Especially if you have
and also I wanted to ask something. On Wednesday, you use my database to work, and then after that, I was trying to work with it. It was just on. Can you hear me?
It was
on read mode only. I couldn't write.
Yep, I can hear you. What did you say?
I say after you work with my database on Wednesdays,
Yeah.
I was trying to do some practice on
It was in read-only
TLSDM.
mode.
It was on read only. I couldn't write, but I took it out. I put it on read and write. I don't know if
It didn't go through.
It went through.
Oh,
But anytime that I tried to connect, this morning I tried to connect. I connect and then I wanted to do something. It tell me the same thing.
That is, it's in read only.
Only, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll make sure I leave it in read and write mode. Okay. Okay. I think this morning I left it in read only mode. But normally you just shut down and you open the database and it should be fine.
Yes, I did that. I shut down and then I started.
And it went through and it didn't go through.
The first time when it did that, I shut down. I started it mount and then I do all the database, open read write. But this morning when I was trying to work, it did the same thing, but and then I shut down and start up, and then it worked. So I hope it's fine now.
It's
Yeah,
because
it's open. It's open.
But Marie, last time Emerald leave that and they read only, he told you need to shut down. He told you the process to do it.
Oh,
If you
maybe I
watch the
didn't pay
video,
attention about it.
she
So,
told you the process to do it.
okay.
Yes.
Okay, so do you still have the table, Mary, that evening?
Yes.
Okay. You don't have it.
Oh, I didn't drop it. I know it was still there. I didn't work with that.
Was it on ORCL or TLS?
It was GLS GMO.
Okay, let's check. Let's first check if the user Mary exists.
No, I dropped it, Emerald.
Well, if you drop it, how is the table going to be around?
The other days, I was doing my assignment, and then I use Marie.
Okay.
And then I drop it.
No, you're here. Marie is still here. You dropped it or you recreated? You dropped it and then you recreated?
Maybe before you create the one that you created the other day, it was already in my database.
You couldn't have two Marie. You cannot have two users with the same username.
But I know I dropped one. I dropped one Marie today.
Maybe it was Marie with Y. I don't know.
Because the table, it said the table does not exist.
You can flash it back, Emerald.
Depends on the flashback retention time, and we are definitely past the flash. So I'll check the table name. Class. Murray. Okay, it was Murray that class actually, not Murray that evening. Select all from Murray that class. Okay, it's a copy of HR department, right? Okay, so we do have Murray that class. So I'm going to drop Murray that class, right? Flashback is enabled, right? It's still enabled, right? Let's just show.
Yes, it's still enabled.
Meta flashback. Okay, good. That's 3 hours, so we're good. You can drop table, Murray, that class. Murray, that class is dropped. Now we are going to, okay, let's select all from Murray, that class. Table of view does not exist, right? And now we are going to flashback that table to get it back. This is part of the assignment. So this is basically what you do. You just drop the table, you check the table is gone, and then flashback table, name of the table, to before you dropped it, to before. Now we can select all from Murray that class. It's back, right? And of course, it's as long as that table was dropped within the flashback retention target, right?
Yes.
So after 3 hours, you cannot use that command. The table is actually, yes. After that time, you cannot use it. And if the table was dropped with the purge option, you cannot recover it because it gets it from the recycle bin, right? For the table.
Correct.
Or flashback drop. Okay. Now I'm going to try to flashback the table itself. So not flashback okay, I need to create another open another terminal. Same database. So okay, I'm going to create another user. Let me just put Maria. Identified by Maria. Friend, connect source to. Okay. Okay, what else do I want to grant? Okay, let's see it for now. I'm going to lock the table, right? Lock table, Marie.class. Okay. In exclusive mode. Right, so Marie is locked. And I'm going to try to use, I'm still connected as sis, right? I'm going to try to, connected as sis, I'm going to try to, let me check the current SCN. Select current SCN, $, database, okay. I'm going to try to flashback the table to previous SCN, to the current SCN. Flashback table, Marie.class to SCN, right? Cannot flashback the table because row movement is not enabled. So I want to enable row movement, but considering that here, we are going to do it here because it has the lock on the table, right? So I'm going to alter table, Marie.class, enable row movement. Are we good? Actually, I need to add that practice that you guys enable the row movement. I'll add one.
Mara, excuse me, please. So the table is in exclusive mode, but you just enable the row movement for it to be flashback.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. Now I'm going to, now that row movement is enabled, now let me try to issue flashback. Flashback complete, right? So we need to make sure that we have row movement enabled. Are we good? Are we good?
Yes, Amaro.
Okay. Now the second case scenario, I'm going to connect as Maria.
Amaro, I have a question.
No.
Before logging the table, can you alter before logging? Alter the row movement before logging?
Yes, you can. Yeah, the table doesn't have to be locked. So let me unlock that table. Connect as Maria identified by Maria. Actually, no, let me connect back as sis. I need to grant the privileges to Maria. Grant flashback on Marie.class to Maria, right? So I want to specifically grant flashback on that specific table. You know, we don't want to grant too much privilege, right? So I granted flashback on Marie.class. Now I'm going to log that table again in exclusive mode. Okay. Now, you see, when I try to flash back here, I cannot flash back,
right? The reason why we were able to flashback here is because by using the alter table enable row movement, we release the lock, basically. Are we good? Are we good? Because alter is a DDL. Hello, guys.
Emma, please. I asked the question. I said, when you alter enable row movement, does it mean the table is in exclusive mode? You said yes, but now you're saying something like you remove it when you alter row movement, you remove the table from exclusive mode.
Did I say the table was still in exclusive mode?
Yeah, I asked that if you do that, does it mean the table is in exclusive mode? You said yeah. Maybe you did not understand the question.
Maybe I didn't. I don't remember saying that. Maybe I didn't hear what you said. I think the question. I think Mary was the one asking the question. She was asking if what if you alter before? Does it make a change? Is it different if you do it before or after? That's why I said no. It doesn't make any difference. But I don't. Anyway.
Oh, it's okay. Thank you.
So by performing a DDL, you release the lock because it's a DDL. Because you cannot, because it's the user that has the lock on the table. So it was able to perform a DDL. But if another user was to enable row movement, it would have gone through because the table was locked by another user. Are we good?
So Emerald, if like, for example, right, if this is not, if you don't want to do a flashback and maybe a particular table is being placed in exclusive mode, can you use the alter enable row movement to like unlock the table too, regardless if you want to do flashback or not?
I can hear you. Can you say that again, please? It's breaking.
I said, if for example, a table has been placed in exclusive mode, right? And for example, you don't want to perform flashback, can you still use the alter enable row movement to unlock the table from the exclusive mode?
Yes. Any alter statement, right? Any DDL. You can alter table, add a column, right? So are we good?
Yes, ma'am.
We are?
Emerald,
yes.
Emerald, please, I don't understand this command. Can you explain it one more time?
Which command?
At the table, enable row movement. Can you explain it again?
Okay, let's read the error we had here earlier. We tried to flash back the table Marie.class to SCN, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And the error we had is oral 08189 cannot flash back the table because row movement is enabled, right?
Oh, okay.
So you cannot flash back the table unless row movement is enabled.
Okay.
Because if you flash back a table, you might only flash back, change the rows, right? You might only bring change because some rows were changed, not the whole table, right?
Yes.
But by default, you cannot change rows like this. You cannot allow row movement. That's why you have to enable row movement for flashback table. Very good.
Okay, thank you.
Are we good?
I'm not. I'm sorry, I'm not.
What's wrong?
So Marie enabled row movement on her table, right?
Yes, on table Marie.class.
Okay. Now Maria was not able to do the flashback. Or was she able to?
That was not Maria, that was Sis.
Oh.
It was, yes, that was Sis. We don't know if that's Maria yet.
Okay. But Maria herself can. So Maria cannot do it, right?
Maria cannot do it yet, but we're going to make Maria do it.
Okay.
But Sis couldn't do it either because row movement was not enabled. And when the table was locked, Sis couldn't do it either because the table was locked. So that you cannot flashback the table that is locked. But however, what can we do?
Enable row.
Enable
What type
row
of flashback can you do when the table is locked?
Enable row movement.
Enable row movement.
What type of flashback can be done when the table is locked?
Flashback query.
Exactly, flashback query. So I'm going to select all from Marie that class as of SCN, and I'm going to put the SCN right here, that SCN. So do you see, I can see the table is locked, right? But I'm able to flashback query, right? If I try to flashback the table itself, I can't, right? But I can flashback query. So to view the state of the table at a specific point in time. Are we good?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So this is for flashback query. Set all from as of SCN, you specify the SCN. Are we good?
Yes, ma'am.
Now we are going to flashback the table itself, but connect as Mary. Now we need to grant some privileges to Mary, but only on the table. Don't want to grant too many privileges, right? So I'm going to grant, select, yes, on Marie dot class to Maria. Grant, what else? Update on Marie dot class to Maria. Grant, delete on Marie dot class to Maria. Select, update, insert. Grant, insert on Marie dot class to Maria. Okay, we have Sudi, right? Yes, okay. Now I'm going to connect as Maria. Okay. Now I'm going to flashback table to that SCN connected as Maria. You think it's gonna go through?
No.
Why?
Because it's locked.
Exactly. So I'm going to commit first, right? Now, flashback, and I was able to flashback. Are we good?
Okay.
Yes.
So you need to grant select on the table, update on the table, delete on the table, insert. Right?
You have to grant. Why do you have to grant all those?
Because it wouldn't work if you don't.
Wow.
Because when you use flashback, right, you need to have access to the table. You need to be able to select, update, delete some rows were deleted, and insert. So flashback table is not enough.
Okay.
Or the user can have DBA privilege role, would be able to. If the user doesn't have DBA role, you want to give it an object privilege. But remember the principle of this privilege, right?
Am I right?
So, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Please, just a little question. Can you please just elaborate a little bit on when you said if you issue the command, it couldn't work because you had not committed? Can you just explain on that?
Yes, because the table is locked. When a table is locked, you cannot flashback a table that is locked.
So if
right? You can only use flashback query for locked tables.
Yeah. So when you commit now,
yes,
when
I commit, I release the lock, right?
Okay.
Every time you commit, you release the lock.
Yeah.
Oh. So once you lock a table and you commit, it means you're done with what you were doing in the table, and any other person now can
correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Now we are going to flashback the database. So for us to do that, I'm going to need to shut down. Okay, I'm done with this. This was just to see when the table is locked. So I'm going to shut down immediate and then startup mount. I know her database is already in flashback mode. Okay. Actually, I wanted to make some changes. I shouldn't have deleted that. I wanted to make changes so we can see the two different. Just going back. 1, 3. Actually, I wanted to give you guys the I wanted to give you guys the script now, but I think it's best if we do it after the first test exam.
What script
Because remember, right? Excuse me?
What script are you referring to?
Script to quickly create the database, right? So that you don't spend too much time on it. But I didn't give it to the morning class. I was like, it wouldn't be fair. So you guys can just.
You can still give us, we'll not tell them that you give us today.
I can do that too, but it's not fair.
That's right.
But I'll give it to you guys on Wednesday after the exam. So you guys, when you'll be doing practice, you won't have to waste too much time on creating the database manually.
So Emerald, please.
Yes.
So we're gonna be, because that exam is really long. We're gonna be taking it on Monday and Wednesday.
No, only on Monday.
You expect us to finish it on Monday?
I will give you guys the same assignment. Maybe I will change 1 or 2 things on Monday. So that assignment you have right now, it's something you can do in 3 hours.
Well,
and you won't even have the whole day to do. You have 3 hours.
Wait,
why?
That thing.
What can you say we can do in
I thought that thing you do it for 1 week.
I will bring you guys the exact same thing on Monday, almost the exact same thing, except for some editing. You guys will only edit some words, like seriously. It would really be, so if you guys do it as a group, you guys can do it this weekend, and you will have the script to pass it. You can pass it in 4 hours.
Time.
1 to 40.
All the backup that we have to do.
Wait, is it question 1 to 40?
Yes.
For how many
I
hours?
thought that thing is for 1 week.
1 week.
I swear, even if you check 3 hours na live, you cannot go. 40.
That's too long, Emerald.
Even 6 hours, we are talking about 3, even 6 hours, and I'm not sure.
All right, don't worry, we'll do it.
Don't forget that there are some questions where it's not running. It's just, for example, question 36 is drop table sunshine dot regions. That's common. That's like 3 seconds.
We know there are some questions that can just take only one question. There are some questions that will not take even up to 3 seconds, but there are some questions that only one question will take like
1 hour something.
But you know that you must run into trouble.
But that's the whole point, right? It has to challenge you a little bit.
That's why we use like 1 week fixing the issues, then coming back now. We'll try our best. We'll try.
That's the thing. Try your best, and if you feel like,
anyways,
that's why I wanted to give you guys the script for the database for question 1, because I don't want you guys to spend an hour on creating the database manually. That's I think I will just give it to you guys.
But why don't you give us the script after the exam? If that's
we will not try it. We'll do it. Don't worry.
Because it's still part of the exam. To me, you could have given us.
I can assure you though that the final exam will look a lot like that exam. So if you can actually nail that exam, the prep exam, then you won't have a problem with the final exam, because it will look very close to this.
It will look very close, but not close. Wonderful.
It will be a little bit twisted, of course, not the same exam, but it will be very similar to that.
Only the way this thing is tough. Just drag me to hell. Just drag me.
Don't worry, you guys can handle it.
Drag you to hell.
This one is more than hellfire.
The final exam should have something like 45 questions. So this is only 40 questions.
Only 40 questions.
I'm all right.
Yes.
I want to ask something. So regarding the flashback query and is it what are the normal the flashback to the current SCN?
Yes.
The only difference from, if I can, from what I see, the
yes.
only difference with the command is for the other one you call SCN.
Yes, yes, didn't see. I want to make changes.
For the current SCN, you use to SCN, you put a SCN, and to the other one as of SCN. Those are the difference, right?
Yes, yes, that's the difference. For as of SCN, it's for flashback query.
Yeah. And to SCN.
And SCN is for flashback table and for flashback database.
All right, thank you.
I'm going to make some changes to the table, Marie. Marie. I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to delete from Marie.class. Where I'm going to delete. Where department underscore ID okay, like you guys remember, right?
Yes.
Corporate tax.
The one that's NV30. We only have 1, 2, 3. It's not enough. Should I use N or R? You guys remember between the operator or and N, right? No?
ID.
We use OR for both, right? If you want to do both, like the first one and second one. But N is for if it fills the first one and the second one as well.
Please, can you say that again? So OR is for?
Or for example here, right? Delete from Merida.class where department ID is percentage 30, so all the one that end with 30 and all the one that end with 20. So if by putting OR here I'm including all the department ID that end with 30 and all the department ID that end with 20, right?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
But if I put AND, I would mean all the department ID that end with 30 and at the same time, they also end with 20, which doesn't make sense, of course, right? Mm-hmm. So the AND is for, it has to fill, right? It has to fulfill both conditions, right? But for OR, it fills either conditions. It fills condition 1 and or condition 2. So for both ones. Are we good?
No. Okay. So OR, right? It will take the 30 and it will take the 20, or it will take the 30 and if it doesn't find the 30, it will take 20?
No. It will take the 30 and also take the 20. Are we good?
Mm-hmm.
And then the N will still do the same, right?
No.
What's the N gonna do now?
The N would take, the thing is that's not really a best example for the N clause, but the N will use the ones that fulfill the first where clause and at the same time also fulfill the second where clause. Are we good? The first where condition. So it has to fulfill both conditions for that thing to be dropped, inserted, or updated. Are we good? But for OR, it's either one.
Okay.
So all the department ID that have 30 that end with 30 will be deleted, and all the department ID that have 20 would be deleted. But with N, it would be the ones that end with 30 and the one that also end with 20. So it has to match both conditions. If you put N here, but let's see what we have if you put N here.
Sir,
Actually, I cannot.
You just said the same thing.
Yeah, it's just the same thing.
Oh,
It
it's
won't
a
be
little
the
bit
same
different
thing.
if you
It's very different. I'm gonna show you guys. It's very different. If you see it, it will make more sense, I'm sure.
So
Okay.
Emera, if I can ask a question from what you said, right? I'm just like trying to fish out something. What if
Yes.
it means the end, right?
Yes.
For example, it goes to, is it the unique key? Because if you say it takes just the first where and the last, it means there must be unique keys, right? Because if, like, for example, two of the same 30s are involved, how is it going to work with the end? And if
exactly, that's why this is what I was explaining to you guys. When you put n, it has to fulfill both conditions. So it has to end with 40 and end with 70. So it's impossible, right? But if I put or here, you will see that we would still have 6 rows deleted, right? But because of the end.
Oh, I already just understood. It means the
Does
end
it make sense, guys?
a particular thing you want to delete, but with the other one, the or might delete some other ones which you never wanted to delete.
Exactly. So does it make sense now? For or, it's both. The ones that end with 30 and the one that end with 20, both. But for end, when you use the end operator, it ends with 40 and at the same time, it also has to end with 70, which is impossible.
Yeah, that's impossible.
Right.
So the clause do not even have to you don't even have to think about it now to use it in this scenario.
It's part of the assignment, so that's why I'm coming back to it to refresh your memory. You good? We saw this already.
So when let me ask. So when is the appropriate? When is a good time to use the clause end?
And is if you have, let's say, for example, you're looking for all the employees who work in a specific department, right? But they work in that department, but they also have that specific, they also have a specific job title, right? So you would use all the let's delete from Merida class where department ID is like end with 30. But department ID end with 30, and if you use the or, you would use, okay, all the employee were the department ID end with 30, and all the employees were the department ID end with 20, right? But this is not what you're looking for. If you just delete all the department ID which end with 30, you will be deleting all the people in that department. You don't want that. You're only looking for the people in that department, but those employees also have a specific job title. Let's say all the salesmen in the department 120. Are we good? Yep. So in that case, you would need to use the end clause. Are we good? So you would use delete from Merida class where department ID is like percentage 30, and the department ID or job name or job ID is like salesman. Are we good? But if you use or instead of and, you would basically be deleting all the employees in that department of the department ID, and you would also be deleting all the salesmen of the company.
Okay, I see.
Make sense now?
Yeah.
It's okay. By the grace of God, it will make sense.
Amen.
Good? Amen. Okay. So, okay, so we deleted. Let's take a look at the table again. Select all from Marie, that class. 21 went from 27 to 21. Actually, that's because we didn't delete, okay, but it's okay. So the 30 is missing. Okay, now let's check the current status of the the current SCN. So select current SCN from V database. Now let me copy this and paste it somewhere. You know that. So this is the SCN after deleting some rows, right? And you guys, and what happens if I only put select from delete from Merida class? What would happen?
Everything.
Right, it will delete all the tables, all the rows, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we are good. This is what I wanted to do. Now I'm going to flash back the table to that specific SCN. Always start at mount, and then we're going to flash back. Okay. Flashback database to SCN. SCN is copied, yes. Okay. Now I'm going to alter database read, read only. Alter database open, read only.
Why?
Okay, I'm going to select all from marine. Dot plus. I didn't commit. Oh, I didn't commit here.
That's why I wanted to ask. We still have 20, 30.
And then you see why it's important to commit. After that, I did not commit. I did not commit. That's it right here.
No changes were made.
Excuse me?
I said, meaning no changes were made.
Yes, the changes were not made. I didn't commit. Let me commit. Let me do it again and commit this time. I didn't commit. I committed. See? So make sure that
each time you change something on the table, you have to commit.
Yes, when you issue a DML,
for
make
the
sure.
change to make, yeah, for the change to make effect, take effect.
So if, for example, all this time we have been working, for example, in the table and we happen to have been deleting, it means those changes were not made.
Excuse me?
Database,
yes.
Go back, database.
Oh, okay. What did you say? I heard someone say something. What did you say?
I was asking, I said, it means, for example, if we were like, all this while we have been working with our database, so if we have been deleting something in the table and without committing, it means the changes were not made.
Yes, if you just exit, the changes were not made. If the change were made, you see that here it would have been reflected, right? But the changes were not made. That's why it's very and always important to commit. Very important.
So.
Hey. Shows you don't need delete, you never commit. I just day back.
Never commit.
If you don't commit, you just have to do it again.
Do it again.
You guys know me, right? If I'm the one checking your exam marking, I will make sure if you don't commit, I'll tell you.
No, you're not checking. You're not checking.
I will not lie, I've never committed anything.
Well, maybe it's time. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to commit.
Marie, not forget to take the backup.
Why did you have to reset the locks on the other side? What happened?
Because I flashback, but don't worry, flashback to before reset logs. I'll use that flashback now.
Emerald, that's mean like Maureen, she have to take the backup.
Yes, the backup would be made, but here we're not trying to crash anything, so you can always do that later. Yes.
No, I always do backup after the reset. Okay. I always check it.
Yeah, I know, Mary. I know. Okay, so here we can
shut down, crash.
So I can just exit. I'm going to shut down from here.
Shut down, crash database. That's a new command.
Shut down, crash database.
You work on in your database, Jay.
Come on.
We missed you last class. Where were you?
Huh?
We missed you last class.
Yeah, for past two, I've missed 2 classes. I've been busy, so busy. But I'm here now.
You got a new job.
Oh, thank God. As a DBA?
Then you sit in class.
DB what?
That's good.
Good word. It's not DBO.
It's coming anyway. It's coming.
Amen. I claim it. I claim it. I receive it.
We or you. So now you want to take a man.
No, I take a new one. Salvation is personal. Claim your own.
So it's good now?
It's good. You see that we don't have 30 here, right? Yeah. 30 here, right?
Right.
So since we started DB1 and to now, nobody have not been committing, and I'm sitting on my big head.
Okay, now I'm going to do a point in time. I'm going to check the date. Okay, 25. And I'm going to remove 20 minutes from that, right? I'm going to remove 20 minutes from that. So start
so 7:45. 45.
Please enlighten me. The 7:45, was it the time the changes were made or what?
No, that was before. I want to do like flashback database to previous point in time.
Yeah, please, can you go where you look at the time? That's my issue.
What time?
The time
Here?
you use. Yes.
Yeah, it's not consistent with the actual time.
All right, I know.
Emerald, are you
Yes.
trying to do a point in time recovery?
No.
Oh,
I want
just
to
a flashback.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Which is a point in time recovery. Yes.
Oh, to a specific time.
But you, in this case, you will not be able to do a point in time recovery, right? Or will you be? Because you reset the logs.
You know, you can flash back to before reset logs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just talking about like point in time recovery.
Okay.
Will you be able to do it?
Point in
Even
time
though
recovery?
you just reset the logs? Yeah.
Yes, I'll be able to do it.
Okay.
That's the next example.
Okay.
So,
yes.
So what's the difference between the flashback and the point in time?
Okay, there are different types of point-in-time recovery, right? Flashback is a limited point-in-time recovery because it can only be made within like 3 hours, 4 hours max.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't require restoration. It only requires for the flashback logs to be applied and already logs if you want to flashback the database. So it's a fast solution to cover database now. We will see that in the chapter.
Okay, it's a fast solution to recover the database, but with limited time.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So after the 3 hours, no means for flashback, we just use point in time.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, sounds good.
Now we are going to flash back the database to before reset logs. So we flash back the database before resetting the logs, right? Now alter database. The first one we already flashed back the database, right? Okay. So yes, that's the last practice. Flashback, alter database, open in read-only mode.
Why do you put in read-only mode?
Because you want to make sure that the changes that you are looking for were actually made. Let's say you have an SCN in mind, and the SCN you use is not actually the one that contains the changes that you need for the table. So that's why, right? So I'm going to select all from Marie.
But I mean, like when you are using this statement for the fact that somebody should not like do anything on the database while you're working on it.
Yes, nobody else can make changes, but it's also for you to check the data that you're flashing back to, right?
So if you don't put it in read only and you flash it, you will not get the data.
What do you mean if you don't put it in read? If you open the reset logs, you can do that. But the problem is that if the data you're looking for was not available, you'd have to do it again, perform another flashback and create another incarnation.
I don't get it.
Me too.
What I'm saying is, right? If you just open the database with reset logs, after flashback, you have to open the database with reset logs, right? If you just open reset logs, and let's say I was looking for, like earlier here, the transaction was not committed, but flashback took place to that SCN. So the changes that I was looking to see were not available. 10:30 was not there. 10:20:30 was not available, right? But it was open in read-only mode, so I knew that, okay, I had to perform another point-in-time recovery, a flashback to a different SCN. Are you good? Because that SCN didn't have the information I was looking for. Are we good?
Yeah.
Are we good? So this is why we open the database in read-only, because so that you can see the data and see if changes that you need are there or not. If they're not there, you just start up mount again and just open. But if it's there, you can just close startup and open the reset logs and bring it back online.
Yeah.
Are we good?
Sorry, I did not really understand it, like seriously. I don't know if I'm the only one. The issue for the read, like the reason why you put in the read only.
Yes. Is to check the data. Is to, you see this part here, right? Flashback database to before reset logs.
Yes, I understand that one.
Let's say it was flashback database to SCN 23456, right?
Yeah. The SCN 23456, is it a before reset log?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's say it's before reset logs, right? So I flash back to that SCN. But the problem is that when I open the database in read-only mode, I don't find the data that I'm looking for. It's not there. So I got the wrong SCN. You see?
Okay.
So instead of creating new incarnations because you know that when you open your receptor, it takes a while, right? And then when you shut down again, you start up mount again, you use another different STN. So it's basically mainly used to check. And when you open it, read only also, that people can only read the data. They cannot make changes to it.
Is it possible for us to try a scenario about what we are talking about?
This is what we just did, I'm pretty sure.
No, I mean like we're trying to flashback when we have not put it in read-only mode. Let's see.
We flash back before putting it in read-only mode, right? Here, the database is mounted, right? And then we flash back. It's only after doing that we put in read-only.
Ah.
You never understand, no man.
Now you never understand. You want me to tell me? I'm getting it now. Oh, I was thinking it was before the reset log. Oh, so it's after the flashback is already completed. That's when you put the database. Okay.
Yes, to check the data.
Oh,
yes.
I get it now. Thank you.
And then if I know that this is what I want, after checking, after opening in read-only, then I open the reset logs because I'm sure that, okay, this is what I want.
I'm sorry, I was confused. I was thinking the read-only was being done before you do the flashback or the reset log. I got it now. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. I'm glad you get it. So you will explain your classmates.
To chair, no, to chair.
To chair, okay.
Chair is still confused.
No, I'm not confused. She clarified me already.
Okay, chair.
My problem was just that the auto database open read only. Like I was just like, she's doing it for what reason? I just wanted to know the reason why, but she already explained. So, but I was thinking that maybe another reason was because she does not want anybody to like put any data while she's still checking why the transaction is not yet done complete.
Yeah, that's also a reason.
Okay, that's good.
So Emerald, if this information is not the information I want after I flashback before reset log,
yes,
what should I do?
You need to perform another flashback. Make sure the database is mounted, right? You need to perform another flashback database.
And what will be the window?
You exit.
As long as it's within the recovery window, right?
Okay.
Now, I want to flash back to 20 minutes before that time, or 30 minutes. I need to put it somewhere. I had a SQL statement for that. Yes, I have it. Okay, there it is. Okay. So I'm going, today is the 26th, right? Or 25?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
26.
You need to make sure you check the time on the server. Don't just guess the time, right? So it was, let's say 30 minutes earlier was like 19:45, right? Day, hour, as.
Couple of that one.
So now I have the SCN from 30 minutes ago, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put it somewhere and then you flash back to that time. So we are going to flash back the database to 30 minutes ago. So you just shut down the database again.
Start up no mount.
Startup mount, not no mount. Actually, it's right here. Now we are going to flash back the database to SCN.
3,024,06.
You see that this is from 30 minutes ago, so it was before opening the first reset logs. This was for 30 minutes before when we check the time. Let's see what time is it on her server. It's 17, so this is like from 40 minutes ago, right? So that was
Right.
way before we opened the reset logs. So we're still able to flash back to the SCN as long as it's within
The flashback window.
the flashback window, exactly. Now, I won't leave you in trouble, so I'm going to open with reset logs, Mary.
Trouble.
Usually when it hangs, it's good news.
It's
The
checking,
errors
of course.
usually come very quickly. Okay, we're good. So let's take a 30-minute break and come back for chapter 11. It's a very, very nice chapter.
Yeah, always nice.
No, that chapter is actually a very good chapter for you guys to practice, talk about it between yourself, among each other. It will be great. Like, I promise. Okay?
Has there been anyone that has not been good? All of the chapters have been good.
No, that one is extra good. You guys will see for yourself, okay? In 30 minutes.
Emerald, quick question.
Yes.
Now here. Emerald, if you try to delete the table space,
delete the table space?
Table space is two-way. I think it's two-way.
Did you say delete table space? I have a problem with that.
I'm sorry, drop table space.
Okay.
While you try to drop table space, you have to drop first the data file inside and then drop the table space, or you have to drop the table space, you put the command including the content.
Yes, if you want, you can drop the table space, including content, right? And data files.
Does it go drop all of the data file inside?
Yes, it will delete the physical data files. But the simple fact to drop the table space, right? It would detach. I mean, the fact that the table space is dropped, it means that the files are no longer being written, being read by the instance.
By instance.
They are no longer connected. Exactly, this connection. Even though they are there physically, logically they are no longer connected.
No longer connected. If you wanna delete and physically, what you wanna do?
If you just drop the table space, right, without specifying including contents and data files, then you have to go delete the data files physically.
Okay. But if you specify content, the content, that's you don't have to, because you go delete the data file physically.
Right. If you specify.
But sometimes you specify the content and then the file is still there physically.
No, you need to specify including content and
data file. Yeah.
That's because that's what now.
Yeah. Because when you just specify content, you still have a data file.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye bye, people.
Yes.
Let's come back in 30 minutes. Bye.
See you guys.
Hi.
Corinne. Where is this? Yeah.
Yes.
We back? You guys here?
Yeah.
Okay. So chapter 11 is about defining an arm-on backup strategy, right? So not last class. Previously, we talked about what are the points that should be taken into consideration when establishing a backup strategy, right? So what do you think are some of the key points that you should have in mind when establishing a backup strategy?
The type of business and let's see, size of your database.
The size of the database, okay. What else? Should I pick? Okay. Bibish. Hello, Bibish. How are you?
No, I didn't get your question. I'm sorry, I was in the kitchen. So I just come back.
Okay, so I'm saying that what do you think, right, as a DBA, when you establish a backup strategy, what do you think are the key points that should be taken into consideration?
Don't have an answer now. Let me think about asking another person so I can come back.
Okay, think about it.
Thank you.
Downtime? I don't know. If your business allows downtime.
Right. You need to take see whether downtime is how much of a downtime, right, would be tolerated for the company, right? What else? Not just downtime, there is something else. But even for downtime, all of it would be put within one word, actually. I mean, 3 words. Okay, we talked about the service. Yes.
I just wanted to ask if the backup.
I can hear you.
I just wanted to ask if the backup location matters.
That's also an aspect of it. We'll see that the backup location would matter. For example, in case we don't have enough space on disk, right? So the backup location would matter where we would prioritize, where we would send our backups to tape instead of disk, right? So the location of the backup would can matter, also can be taken into consideration.
That means the backup method too.
Excuse me?
That means the backup method too.
What do you mean backup method too?
That means the backup method also matters.
Yes, it does matter, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we talked about the service level agreement, right? So it all depends on the service level agreement of the company. If the company would prioritize more downtime, but 0 data loss or minimal data loss, or whether the company would prioritize maximal uptime, but would allow some data loss, right? So it all depends on the service level agreement, on what you have, the environment that you have, the types of media that would be needed, whether backup or tape, depending on the usage, depending on the size of the database, depending on the frequency of the backups, right? Depending of how often changes are made to the database, the frequency of the changes made to the database. So there are many different factors that come into consideration when for DBA to establish an effective backup strategy, right? So there is no right or wrong. The answer for what is the best backup strategy, it depends on the service level agreement. Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's move on to page 2. Most critical question to ask first. What are my recovery requirements? Assess tolerance for data loss, recovery point objective. So some companies would put an emphasis on the recovery point objective, meaning they would be like, okay, 0 data loss. An example would be a bank, for example, Bank of America. They don't want to lose any data, minimal data. Bank of America will want to lose minimal data, right? You don't want to have millions of dollars missing or thousands of dollars, even $5 missing from anyone's bank account, right? So a company like a bank would prioritize 0 data loss, very minimal data loss, right? Now, you'd also need to answer how frequently should backups be taken. You know that when you take a backup, it does require a lot of resources, right? It does require a lot of more CPU, so the server would be slow, really slow. And then you need to ask yourself, will I be able to use point-in-time recovery instead of failure? So this is for companies where they don't want to lose any data. And I think we can understand why. Not just the banks, even DMV, for example, right? Companies like that. Now, assess tolerance for downtime, recovery time objective. Now, some companies would put an emphasis on the time. They don't want to be down at any time. An example would be grocery stores, right? From 6 to 10 or to midnight, they don't want to have any downtime, right? People should be coming in and be able to buy some things. I mean, buy whatever they want to do, like shop, right? Can you imagine something, a store like Giant or Walmart, 2 hours down? Can you imagine 2 hours down, Walmart? Can you imagine how much money they lose, right? Mm-hmm. So for a company like Walmart, they will definitely prioritize recovery time objective. So the recovery should be done as soon as possible, right? Recovery time. So downtime identification, plus recovery planning and system recovery. So you need to make a plan based on the company you're working for, right? How fast can you identify the issue? How fast can you recover? What are your plans to recover, right? And then, so RTO is for recovery time objective and RPO recovery point objective. Now, you can also break it down per level, right? Database, table space, table or row, right? To recover the database at different levels. Now, determine backup retention policy. Now, okay, let's see. Is that screen always bothering me? Okay. Determine backup retention policy on site, meaning on disk in the server, off site, meaning on tape, and you need to think about long-term, right? Then how does my Arman backup strategy fulfill those requirements? So your Arman backup strategy should match with the service level agreement that you have, right? And whether your company prioritize the point in time recovery, the recovery point objective, or prioritize the recovery time objective, right? So it depends whether time is prioritized or zero data loss is prioritized. Are we good? Any question from that page? Any question, guys?
No question for now.
This today, we'll just be doing, we need to understand those concepts.
No questions for now, maybe as we are going.
Okay, okay. Availability requirements, how to help choose the right RMAN strategy. So it can depend on the RTO, the RPO, and the service level agreement. Service level agreements, examples, backup window, planned downtime, and unplanned downtime. So there are different ways to resolve some issues, right? So for example, how often should backups be taken? How often should full database backup be taken or incremental level 0 backups? So all of these would be part of the service level agreement. So those are some examples, right? The maintenance, how much downtime would be allowed when doing maintenance for database, for example. And in case of a natural disaster, how fast would you be able to fix, to resolve an issue? How fast would you be able to make that database accessible, even though the server itself is unavailable, or if a lightning, right, stroke or whatever happens? Anything can happen, right? So there are all of those, for all of those different case scenarios, right? There are solutions that can be implemented. Now, page 4. No, any question on this page first? You guys know that when you don't ask questions, I do start asking questions, right? Okay. Any question on that page? Anita, any question? Anita is missing now. Even you, Anita.
Can you please explain the HA service level agreements a little bit again?
Yeah, this is a service level agreement, right? So this is basically what your company would require from you, the DBA, right? So they will tell you, okay, we prioritize 0 downtime, right? They'll tell you that, okay, we require 0 downtime. For high A, it's high availability, right? They might tell you, okay, the database needs to be available as much as possible. The downtime, we want minimal downtime, right? So it depends. So depending on the service level agreement. So as a DBA, you know that, okay, as I'm working for this company, this is what they want from me. Some companies would be happy if the database is up all the time, right? Or you have minimal downtime, but they wouldn't mind losing some data, right? But some companies wouldn't want to lose any data, and they wouldn't mind an hour down or 2 hours down. Are we good? So this is for the service level agreement, high availability service level agreement. Are we good?
Yep.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Emma, please, I have a question.
Sure.
Before you continue, I just want to know, like, when they talk about the RMAN strategy, they're talking about the cumulative differential and...
Yes, all of that, all the backups you can do that would meet your yes, the requirements.
I mean, when you say all the backup, that means that even the normal user managed backups.
Whatever you can use that would meet the service level agreement, right? Now, in a real case scenario, do you think a user managed hard backup would actually be good practice? Even a cold backup, we say that they might not be the best practice, right? Now you can perform a user managed hard backup, but in case the database crashes, right? Or if you have data files missing, you have to do a point in time recovery to that point in time and then perform recovery. That would take hours, right? But if you have incremental backups, for example, using Arman, the restoration and the recovery would be much faster. Are we good? Hello?
Yes, Emma, thank you. I'm good.
Okay. Arman environment, recovery manager. I mean, you guys know that. SQL Plus like client performs backup and recovery of your database, right? Well, that's Arman. Target database, the database to be backed up by Arman. Recovery catalog, separate database to record Arman activities. FRA, dislocation to backup recovery files, right? Media management software, software to interface with tape media. And auxiliary database, database to be cloned, copied to by Arman. Any question?
What are these?
What is?
So what are these?
I want to ask something.
Go ahead.
Kind of like the way you were going, like for me, it's like we are reading and I'm not really grabbing the things in my head, like seriously.
You're not grabbing. That's what I'm telling you guys. Do you have questions? That thing, don't get me wrong. At first, it's like, oh, Chinese. But I can assure you that as you communicate and you talk about it, ask me questions, right? Talk about it, try to look for information, have it, or you come back next class, ask questions. After discussing.
So if I understand, like on this chapter, like the what we have to know about in this chapter, especially what we really have to grab all these things, or like before performing backup, or what necessary things you need and all the like.
Okay, no, so I'm going to ask you questions, right? And based on the questions, I hope that it will make sense. Now that you get your DBA job, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as you get your DBA job, say yes now.
Yes.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
And they give you the service level agreement. Like they tell you, okay, this is what we want. We are okay with, not okay with that. We want you to be doing, we don't want, just as the DBA, just so that we have minimal downtime ever, right? We don't want downtime, or you see, and all those things, you can perform backups only once a week. So you know what is wanted from you, right? Or what is required from you, right?
Yeah.
So as the DBA, right? Are you just going to sit down and just run the Arman commands that you have seen in DB2? No, you have to sit down and think about, okay, what do they really want from me, right?
Yeah.
And you take the time to write down what they want. Okay, minimal data loss. Okay, so this type of backup would be best for me to have very fast recovery, right? You need to implement different tools, right? You might want to implement data guard. You might want to like, there are so many things that you can do based on your level agreement, right? So you cannot just go work and say, okay, I'm just going to do a cold backup every 5 days at 12 p.m. when you know that the database would be down at 12 p.m. because you're working for Giant. You're the DBA for Giant, right? So you just go there and you shut down database at 12, you know, and it's down for like 3 hours because they are really big database, 1 terabyte databases. So do you see why it's important? Does it make sense now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does it make sense? So you will all have to do it. Either you will have to do it yourself, or when you come and there will be other DBAs, you will just follow what already did. But someone has to do it for a company. Someone has to do it. And you might implement other backups eventually. If there are other new databases created, you would have to do it. It's something that you will do for sure, right? So that's why it's really important to already know how to think DBA basically. Are we good?
Yeah.
Think DBA. Fired.
For that one, talk about it among yourselves. Just talk about it. You can ask Anita, oh, Anita, what do you think about this? And Anita say, oh, no, I don't think this is a good backup strategy. And you guys go back and forth and forth and back and forth until it starts to actually really make sense.
Okay. We have it.
Right?
So basically, yeah, you just plan and look at your service agreement, and you try to see the best soft tools you can use, and also with preparing your scripts, the kind of scripts you use to
preparing the scripts exactly. That would
help you
to
do your
feel
job better.
Yeah, exactly.
Fulfill the service agreement.
Exactly. DBA is a good job. It's hard to lose your job as a DBA when you're doing a good job. But it's also very easy to lose your job when you're doing a good job, right? You guys know that.
You know, there are errors that no matter how good you are, sometimes you run into some kind of error that can still lead to your firing. You're fired. Bye-bye.
No, there are some errors that, like,
Pack your baggage.
that the DBA, as at work, DBAs should be very, very careful. Like, you cannot just, like we are doing here, you just go quickly, like you type slowly because you want to make sure that, okay, I'm not doing anything there.
So you have to type like a snail.
Not that slow, but normally, at least pay attention to everything you're doing, right?
You read well before you
double check.
Before you not enter.
You lose your job, your DBA job here in Maryland, you can always go to Kansas or other states like that, Arizona.
Delete the whole database for Maryland.
Well, if you have a backup, you should be able to back up to recover, right, restore.
Delete the whole database of Maryland, or just repatriate you.
You'll go in jail.
Okay. So we are good with that.
Frightful job, but exciting money.
Yes, it's not that frightful. Honestly, it's not that frightful. But it's true that you have to be very, very careful. Very careful.
People that don't have patience like me. Oh, Lord.
It's okay. God will give you patience. God will give you that patience.
Amen.
Okay, so we are good with that page, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now, we have incrementally updated backups and we have incremental backups. So we have incrementally updated strategy and incremental strategy, right? For incrementally updated strategy, we need image copy backups, right? And for full incremental strategy, we use backup sets, right? Now, can we save to tape image copies?
Hmm? Yeah. I'll don't again. Thank you. Yeah, confirm.
Can you save to copy? Can you save to tape image copies? Hello?
You say save what?
Can you save to tape image copies?
No.
Yes.
Huh? Image copy to tape?
Yes.
Oh, to tape.
You say you can do that?
You cannot.
You cannot.
I say you cannot.
Okay. Yes. I heard you the first time. I know you say that.
You cannot.
Yes.
Tape, how can you save image in a tape? Or am I mistaken the kind of tape?
You can save image on a tape now, but not in this sense.
You know the tape?
The cassette, the radio cassette, that not the like the radio tape. How can you save image tape? Anita.
No, be that kind tape.
Tape is tape.
Okay, okay. If you want to talk about tape, you want to talk about tape in that sense. The digital, the video, in those days, video.
That's video.
Cassette,
that's video.
but it's the tape.
So it's video tape. We are talking about image. You want to stop video or image?
Yeah, but the image goes to the video. It's a visual thing.
Not going out of context here.
I
guys.
know we're
I know,
talking about database here.
They're going out of context, but you know, sometimes stuff like this bring me back.
Sometimes of my help. Seriously, no. Okay, okay. We cannot save image copies to tape. Image backups to tape, right? We cannot.
Emerald, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
When tape is just like a storage space, right? Like disk.
Yes, it's like the tape. It's exactly like you guys know, like back in the 90s, right? People used to use tape a lot.
That's what we're saying. That's what we're just arguing about.
Cassette.
That's what we're saying.
Cassette, exactly, cassette, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly that. They are cassettes. Even up to today, they are still using stuff that look like cassettes, right?
Why now pen forward? Now pen turn on.
You just can Google tape, Oracle tape. You will see that they look like the old school cassettes. Yes. We good?
Some people don't know. Some people were born when those things. I don't think this cassette. You should explain to some people the cassette.
Cassette.
Huh? What discs has come to replace? What these CDs and discs they have come to replace?
Okay.
What we're using to play music in those days in our radios.
I'm forwarding you guys in the group what cassette is actually, so that you guys can have an idea.
Radio cassette.
The same cassette.
Yes.
Really, Emerald?
It has a tape on it. The rope there has a tape.
Exactly.
Let me see.
The Android picking there.
Everybody knows the cassette.
Okay, it's for the English speakers. They might not know.
Okay.
Okay, are we good?
Yes.
Okay. So initial Arman image backup to this. So you first take an initial image copy backup, right? And then that incremental backups allow you to backup only the changes, right? Only the change blocks. Now, something very interesting is that it would all the blocks that were changed would be merged into the backup, so that the point in time recovery would be very, very, very fast. Right?
Okay.
Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. The recovery would be fast. Now, you know that, can you use switch to copy for backup sets?
No.
Yes, you cannot switch to copy with backup set. You can only switch to copy with image copies, right?
Right.
But one of the disadvantages is that the retention time is usually between 1 day and 7 days, right? And Arman compression applicable to the incremental, right? Incremental backups and to the archive log backups. So you can only compress the incremental backups and the archive logs, but you cannot compress image copies, right?
Right.
Now you can also back up the FRA, right? And you can also back up the copy of the backup. You can back up the backup, right? You can even back up the backup of the backup. Are we good? Okay. Now for full incremental strategy, we use backup set, right? Now for backup set, you can back up to disk, right? To tape and to cloud, right?
Right.
And Arman, now people are switching more to cloud now. So tape is kind of is on its way to becoming obsolete. So online compression applicable to full, incremental, and or archive log backup. Online backup set to make additional copies of the backup to disk or tape. So you can back up the backup set. Are we good?
Yes.
Any question from that page? Any question?
So can you use like multiple types of storage for the backup sets? Like can you use disk and then tape?
Yes, yes. You can use disk, and then when it's past the retention, 7 days, they would be sent, all backups can be sent to tape, right?
Okay.
So you can mix both, yes. Or to cloud.
Emerald,
Yes.
what is the advantage of cloud to tape?
The advantage of cloud?
Of cloud to tape.
What? I can hear you.
I mean, what is the advantage of cloud to tape?
The advantage of using cloud?
Yeah, for example, if I ask the advantage of tape to disk, we know that tape keeps can be kept for a long period of time as compared to disk. My question is, for cloud, what is the advantage of cloud to tape?
Okay, the advantage of clouds is first, you can see the time, right? From weeks to years. So you can keep it for a very, very long time. Are we good? Also, another advantage is that cloud is not stuck somewhere in a warehouse like tapes, for example, right? So it's less expensive. Are we good? Are we good?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
The data you have in cloud won't be lost, right? So it's also to prevent data loss.
Can the cloud not crash?
Right, yes, it's cheap. Moving to cloud at the end, it would end up being cheap than keeping things on tape, right? But it's also safe. And you can keep it for weeks, for years, right? And for more.
Tape is physical, right? But cloud is logical.
Yes, cloud is logical.
But then, can it not crash?
No, that's also one of the advantage, right? And also it's fast. You can quickly, yes, it's high speed, yes.
And you say it's less expensive?
Yes.
Like cloud?
Yes.
To store that on cloud is less expensive than
Because
with the tape, you have to have a warehouse. Then you buy the tape and all that stuff for space.
Yes, or you hire or you store it in a tape company or whatever they call it, a warehouse, right? Where they would keep you would be renting it forever, basically, if you want your data to be kept somewhere, if you cannot do it. Or if you have a warehouse where you would have your tapes, the tapes for like 20, I mean, if it's a really big corporation, right? 10 years. So cloud is less expensive. That's why many companies are moving to cloud, because it does cost less. You don't need to invest in expensive hardwares. So yes, definitely the cost is a very big aspect. Are we good? And it's also fast. You can quickly have access to cloud information, the information you have on cloud. Are we good?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. It's the latest. Of course, it has to be better than the rest, right? It's the
But I'm
latest.
scared that you'll crash.
Why are you scared?
Yeah,
I know that some of you have the OCI already, so you guys are Oracle Cloud Architect already. So,
yep.
right? I know.
Mm-hmm.
So you should be able to defend yourselves, right? About cloud, why cloud is preferred. Okay, Arman compression applicable to full, incremental, and or archive log backups. So even though backup sets are compressed, right? You can even compress it further. So you can compress incremental backup sets, and you can compress archive log backups. Are we good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Arman backup set. Okay, this is the backup set. You back up the backup set. Okay. Now, who can tell me? Okay, that's the question for later, actually. Are we good with that page? Any question, guys?
Compression is to reduce to keep more space, right?
Right. That's exactly for it. It's exactly to more space. So you see,
Space optimization.
yes. You see, full incremental strategy is for space, yes, to keep more space, right? To save space. And incrementally updated is for high availability. So minimal
downtime.
Minimal
downtime?
Yes. Fast recovery. Are we good?
Yes.
High availability means that when you're looking for data, it's quickly accessible. So uptime and very fast recovery. Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. Well, depending on your service level agreement, you can opt for this one or you can opt for the other one. Are we good?
Mm-hmm.
Are we good?
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Yes.
Now let's compare the two. Weekly full, daily incremental backups, right? And then on another slide, we compare that with the incrementally updated backups. So this is for full, weekly full and daily incremental backup. So on day one, we would perform a level 0 backup, right? We see that when the backup is taken, here is the database, here is the backup. So it's the same, right? Same thing.
Yes.
Now on day 2, some changes were made to the database, right?
Yes.
You guys can see that here, the blocks changed within the database. You see that we have it here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So here we have all the changed, the backups, right? Now, on day 3, more additional changes were made to the database. And we can see that here we have blocks changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
That were, all the dirty blocks were backed up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, any question on that page? You guys are already familiar with incremental backup. I don't really spend a lot of time on it. But if you have any question, I'm here. If you don't, I might have some questions for you.
Okay. Hit it.
What did you say?
Hit it.
I'm not sure what this is showing though. So this is just explaining the incremental backups?
Yes. it's showing the incremental backup here. Is there any confusion? Let us know that the incremental, level 1 incremental backup, this would be differential, right? You see that here, this is the same backup. So we still have that backup. But on top of that backup, you have different backups, only the blocks that were backed up. So this is day 1, day 3. So you see more backups, block. Are we good?
Backs up, but just the blocks.
Yes.
Emerald,
Yes.
Emerald, does mean like the level 0 is a full backup, and the one we come into the second day we got some change is the incremental differential backup.
Right.
When we come into day 3, we do is a incremental cumulative or differential again.
They are both incremental. They are both differential. Every time you only see incremental, it's just increment. It's just differential, right?
Okay.
Okay.
You guys can see it's differential. It's that.
Yeah, I said that the second day is differential. That's a show. Is differential second day.
Third 2 is differential.
The third 2 is differential. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all incremental backups.
Okay.
But based on that strategy, they would all be differential.
Okay.
Please, I've forgotten something I wanted to clarify me a little bit. Why on to the incremental differential? I'm lost a little bit. Just why does it copy? Why does it do a backup of blocks instead of data?
What do you mean?
You said on day 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead, what you showed, you said those are blocks, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So on day 1, the full backup, it was like the same. That was data. You said
database.
Data. Yes. So
yes.
It means day 2, the backup and the blocks now. It backups the data in blocks.
I don't understand.
I don't know how I can put it.
You mean that is the confusion coming from, you know, that the blocks chain contains change data, right?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to clarify.
Okay.
Boom.
Are we good?
Yes,
I have a question.
Yes.
Whenever we say increment, that means it is incremental differential.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, by default is differential, right?
Yes, but
only
when
cumulative.
But when you define, for example, when you define a differential, you like you say that it is like it backups only the data that has changed since the previous incremental backup.
For differential, right? It would back up since the last level 1 or the last level 0. So it would just back up anytime it would just back up anything after, whether it's the last backup was level 0 or whether the last backup was level 1. It would back up everything basically.
Okay. I thought it was since the previous incremental backup. So my question was, if it is since the
previous, so it can be incremental level 0 or incremental level 1. That's why I'm saying that it would back up everything, whether it was level 0 or whether it was level 1. Are we good?
Okay.
What's confusing? If something is confusing, please let me know. Ronalda.
Yes. No, never mind. I'm just gonna fix it because I thought.
Well,
Okay.
express your.
Okay. For example, when is the level 1? Because what I know about cumulative, it is a data that has changed since the last level 0 backup.
Right.
So
It's
when
not
is
backup the changes since the last level 0, right?
yes.
Yes, that's for cumulative.
So when is the level 1?
What do you mean when is the level 1? The cumulative backup is a level 1 incremental backup, right? We have 2 types of incremental level 1 backup. You have differential and cumulative, right? So for cumulative, it would back up all the changes since the last level 0, right?
Okay. Okay, I got
And
you now.
differential would back up all the changes. For example, let's say the last backup was a cumulative. Differential would copy all the changes since the last cumulative, right? But differential, cumulative would only back up since the last level 0. Let's say the last level 0 backup was done on Monday, on Sunday. If on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they were all level 1 backup, the cumulative backup will back up all the way since Monday, right? But cumulative would back up all the way since Monday, but differential would only back up since yesterday, basically. Are we good?
Yes. Okay, I got you. That means when we talk about level 1, it is incremental.
Yes.
Okay.
Are we good? You also have incremental level 0. The first one is incremental level 0, right? This is a backup that is ready for incremental level 1. Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when we have differential and cumulative, okay, let's move on. Any more questions from this page? Guys, I know this chapter is, honestly, it's very interesting, but it's if you actually try to take the time to understand it. Can we move on? Yes.
Yep.
Who just said yep?
Okay.
Okay, I have a question for you then.
Go on.
Busted.
Okay, we talked about incremental and differential backups, right? Yeah. What do you think? I'm going to even say it again. Differential backs up all the changes since the last level 0 or the last level 1. So whatever incremental was done, it would back up it would back up since any incremental backup that was done before, whether level 0 or whether level 1, right? And cumulative would back up since the last level 0. It doesn't matter if you have 5 level 1 backups, it would go all the way to since the last level 0. Now, can you tell me, as a DBA, right? Because I know for a fact that it's coming soon, right? Now, as a DBA, what do you think is the advantage of an incremental differential backup? What is the advantage?
Can anybody answer?
No, I want him to answer, and then if you have the answer, you can answer later.
Yeah, the advantage, right?
Uh-huh.
It's that it backs up every data from the level 0. Even, how can I put it? I don't know how to put it, but I have it in my head.
Go ahead. Express yourself. It will come out today by fire, by force. Right? It will. I will help you. If even if you don't have the word, I will help you.
Yeah, like I said, it's advantageous because it backs up from the level. It backs in from the level 0 and whatever.
Or level 1, right?
Or level 1, yeah, or level 1 for whatever additional data that is being added in the database. It still backs it up from level 0 or 1 or.
Right. Now, based on what you just said, right?
Yeah.
And what is based on, just keep in mind what you just said, right?
Yeah.
Just keep. Now, for cumulative backup, it backs up all the changes since last level 0, right?
Yep.
Now, which one do you think is faster? Which one do you think takes less time?
Incremental backup.
For the both cumulative and differential.
Yeah, which one do you think takes less time? Would take less time?
To back up data?
Yes.
Incremental backup.
It's differential.
Differential will take less time.
Exactly. Differential will take less time. Exactly.
The longer to recover.
Yeah, it will take less time, but to recover it's going to take long. Guess.
Exactly. Perfect.
Because it has more data.
Yes. And cumulative?
Will take less time, but will be faster to recover because it has less data.
Exactly. It would take more time to back up, right? And it would require more resources, but the rest is faster. Yes. We good? Because less incremental backups that would need to be applied during recovery. For incremental, you would need to apply all the backups, all of them, but for cumulative, few backups would need to be applied. Fewer backups. So maybe only 1 or 2 or so, right? And boom, the database is up. Are we good?
Wait, so the differential takes less space, right? Or does it take more space?
Differential takes less space.
Okay.
It does take less space, definitely. Are we good?
Yeah.
Yes. Cumulative backups take more space. Because, for example, if you have level 1 backup in differential and then you have a cumulative, the cumulative will still take all the backups.
Yeah,
all the changes regardless, right? Even though you have another incremental level 1. So cumulative takes more space and differential takes less space. Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. So if you guys can discuss it among yourself, you guys see that you were able to say it, right? He ended up saying it, even though at first he was like, is it 10, but he ended up saying it actually. So if we can, you guys can talk like this, you guys will see that.
Okay, so when they say, just to double check, incremental backups, they're referring to differential.
In that case, yes. I mean, they don't really specify whether it's cumulative or differential. They just say incremental, basically. But you know the difference between differential and cumulative. We talked about, yes. Are we good? Are we good, guys?
We're good.
Yes, Emerald.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So that means that with Arman, if you want to do a differential backup, so with the incremental backup, Arman will do the differential as a default, right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly, Marie.
Arman would do the differential, okay.
By default, yes.
Okay.
We good?
I would have a question.
Sure.
So, one day I saw the open and close backups, but I've never heard us mention it. I don't know if it really exists or it is just.
Mention what?
Open and close backups.
Open backup and close backup?
Yes.
I don't know. I've not heard about it. What is it Oracle related?
What do you mean by Oracle related?
I mean, open backup. Why would you open a backup? I mean,
like it's a type of. Actually, when I saw it, it was a type of. It was among the types of backups.
Really? I don't. Maybe it means Maybe it means something else. But I've not heard about open backups. Honestly, I don't know. So you can share the link, but I don't know what an open backup. Maybe they mean consistent and inconsistent backup when the database is shut down, or I don't know. Maybe that's what they mean by open backup, but I'm not sure. I've not seen it. And it's not part of this chapter either, so I don't know. Okay.
Maybe in project.
I'm in project, it's not in project.
Interview.
Okay, maybe. Okay. So we are done with that. Let's move on. Or you can always send the source where you read it from. I've seen DB1, DB2 project, and we're almost done with project. I've never heard that open backup. Maybe it means inconsistent. That would be my guess, since the database is open.
What means consistent or inconsistent? Because on the types of backup, they had consistent, inconsistent, they had incremental, they had full, they had open, and they had close. So anyway, I'll send it to you.
Okay. Okay. Full and incremental tape backups, well suited for databases that can tolerate hours, days, RTO. What does RTO stand for again?
Recovery time objective.
Recovery time objective.
Time objective. Environments where disk is premium. Low, medium change frequency between backups, less than 20%. And the backup strategy would be weekly level 0 and daily differential backup sets to tape with optional backup compression, right? So the advantage of full incremental tape backups is that it's only good if you can actually, if your recovery time objective, you can tolerate days, right? Which is not very likely, but days or hours. And you need to save space on disk. This is what they mean by environments where disk is premium. So you need to save space on disk, and low medium change frequency. So you know that the frequency, the changes made to the database between backups is less than 20%, right? Now, backup strategy. Weekly level 0 and daily differential incremental backup sets with optional backup compression. So this is a backup strategy, basically. Enable block change tracking. Who remembers the advantage of using block change tracking? Why is it used? What are the advantages?
It enables fast incremental backup.
It enables fast incremental. Did you just say it enables fast incremental backup?
Yes, you're talking about the blockchain tracking, right?
Yes. It allows the backup to be faster, but by doing what? What takes place? Why does it make it faster?
Because it backs up only the blocks that are changed.
All the incremental backup would only back up the blocks that were changed. But what makes it faster?
Helps Ironman.
Yeah, Ironman determines those blocks that are changed.
How? You guys have the answer. I know
The answer is coming, but it's coming and going.
I mean, we know what it is, so
yes.
It's coming and going. It just left my head. I ran through this 2 days ago.
I think she has the answer. Can you tell us, please?
I'm trying. Oh, things coming. Just
Anita.
Yeah.
Mary, Bibish. You guys have the answer, I know. It's just in the back of your mind, but it's there. I know it's there. Okay.
Wait, so please, what's the question again?
The question is, why does, when we enable blockchain tracking, what does it make the incremental backup faster? What is the thing that takes place that makes them run faster?
I know that they help with they prevent rather for the Ironman to scan the whole database.
Exactly. Thank you. You got it. Thank you. Exactly. There is no full database scan. When enabled blockchain tracking is not enabled, it has to, when blockchain tracking is disabled, Arman has to scan the whole database to see the blocks that were changed, right?
Yeah.
But by enabling blockchain tracking, all the blocks that were changed would directly be saved in the file, in the blockchain tracking file. So all the information about all the changes saved will be saved.
It records the change blocks in the blockchain tracking file.
Exactly. So Arman would directly go check into that file, right? In the BCT blockchain tracking file to just directly back up those blocks.
Yep. That was coming in my head and going.
I knew it was coming. It was in the back, right? But it came all the way up.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good. Archive logs are backed up and retained on disk as needed. Are we good? Okay. So this is the advantage of full and incremental tape backups. Okay, this is basically the script. This is just an example. Configure SBT tape channels, configure channel device type, weekly full backup. So you would need to have two scripts. One script for the full backup and another script for daily backups, right? So the first one is backup as backups at incremental level 0, database with archive log. So that will be done weekly. And we'll set it up with Chrome tab on Monday before the exam. Or after, no, before the exam is better because after the exam, nobody will be focused.
Before the exam. Wow, Emerald.
Yes, before.
So are we going to finish the exam?
Assignment 11 is due on Wednesday. On Wednesday.
Oh, golly.
What assignment, Emerald?
11.
On Wednesday, next Wednesday. And then we
Yes.
have exam Monday.
Yeah.
How long is the exam?
3 hours. 40 questions.
We have to practice the one that you sent today, and then we have to do the
I'll give you the same exam, I promise. I'll give you almost the same exam, or the same, maybe. It will be the same. Seriously, it will be the same exam.
But on Monday?
Yes.
Monday.
So if you practice with your group and all that, you should be done within 3 hours. It can be done in 3 hours. I checked.
You know best. So.
Emma, you say if you practice those questions with group, can be done within 3 hours. When you used to give 5 questions or 10 questions, and Emma, there are questions that you can spend even an hour or no. And then talk, if you have 3 of those kind of questions, is that not almost 3 hours? They should do it for 4 hours.
I checked before giving. It took me some time to give it to you, right? So I checked how long it could take, but I'm aware that it might not. I mean, but the most important is that even if you don't finish within the 3 hours, the most important is that at least, right, you understand, or you know that, okay, I could have finished if I had more time, because you guys know the DB2 exam, it's not like DB1. You have 1 week to finish the exam, right? The most important is that even if it's 1 week, you know that I could finish that exam in 1 week. It's the most important, right?
You should give us 1 week now.
No. I'm giving you...
Exactly, because it's same DB2 exam now.
3 days. Excuse me?
It's same DB2 exam now.
What do you mean?
You said DB2 exam, we're going to use how many days to write?
Yeah, you have 1 week to write the DB2 exam. You guys know that. Or even...
That's why we are saying the one you just sent to us is almost the same like the DB exam, right? The DB2 exam.
It's not like... It is almost, but there are things, it's not exactly, because you guys have many questions to write. Like they are not like practice. It's just you write it. You write it like, what's the difference between incrementally updated and incremental backup strategy, right?
Are you asking
those questions that there are just few. The way you are saying it, like there are 15 of them. Those kind of questions are just...
I think.
Just like 3 or 4.
Okay.
I went through all of those questions already.
The last 3, and then there is 17. Okay, 17. Okay. Okay, there are 4. Actually, I thought there were like 5. But it's okay. Anyway, the most important is that you guys know how to do it, honestly. It's not really the time. I know that 3 hours is not really a lot. But at least do half of it, right? And then on Wednesday, we will go over it together. We good?
Okay.
We'll go over the hard stuff.
God will help us.
I wish I thought about giving you guys the script for the question 1, but I forgot to give it to them.
Good morning.
Then maybe we should just do it. Let us do it on VNC. Allow us to do it on VNC.
VNC. Okay, you guys can do it on VNC if you want, honestly, at this point.
Okay. Okay, I have a question. Like, how do you know, for example, if I create a database on DBCA, how are you going to know that I did not do it manually?
I will check admin. UO1, APP, blah, blah, admin. I'll check.
Next time.
Okay.
Are we good?
So, Emerald, what's the essence of like specifying creating the database manually, and when there is a VNC to always do that?
When there is what?
VNC to always like just go and follow the steps and create a database now.
What do you mean VNC? You mean DBCA, right?
DBCA, sorry, yeah.
Yes. What's the point of it?
Yeah.
Because you have to know how to do it manually. You're DBA.
Yeah, you owe it, but the it's always gonna be there now.
Anyway, it's part of the program.
Is it something like there's going to be a day the app is not gonna be available?
Normally, you should be able to use DBCA, to be honest. In real work environment, you will use DBCA. But it's also good for you to not rely on that and to understand how to create it. We good?
Yeah.
But don't trade on DBCA and think that I won't find out. I will find out.
But you just said that we can do that.
No, for this one, but not for the final exam.
Okay.
The final exam, trust me, the first question would be to manually create a database. No DB2.
You say it's 1 week, right? The final exam.
Yes.
So people will use 1 day to create it too.
Excuse me?
I said some people might use 1 day to create it.
You shouldn't. I will give you a script and it should take you less than 15 minutes.
Thank you.
But then the other question would take you a while.
Oh.
Okay.
We'll manage it.
You guys will handle it. I'm not worried about that. Okay. Aman multi-tiered backup strategy continued script. So here we have the weekly script and here we have the daily script. So backup as backup set incremental level 0 backup, backup set not backup up to device type SBT. So all the backup sets, it would basically back up the backup set that were not backed up yet, basically, right? To tape, delete obsolete device, type this recovery window of 7 days. So delete all the obsolete that are on disk and delete obsolete. You guys know obsolete already. Now, daily script. So this is the daily script. Backup as backup set incremental level 1, database plus archive log. Backup set not backup up to device type SBT. So incremental backup to disk, right? And backups all the backup set to tape, right? If those backups were not already backed up. Are we good? So Anita was asking earlier, can we back up at the same time to disk and to tape, right? So you can send the backups that are about to become obsolete. You can back them up to tape before they are deleted from disk. Are we good?
Yes.
Page 10, that's the very interesting page. Incrementally updated backups. So I'm going to give you guys 1 minute to look at that image and let me know what you think about it.
Question. So what does the camera stand for?
Image copy.
Image, okay.
I know it's anyway. Are we good? Okay. So you can see that here for the first one, you have the database, and then there is an image copy backup that is performed on day 1. And then on day 2, there are some changes made to the database, right? And then you see that the blocks are backed up. All the changes made are backed up, right?
Right.
And then on day 3, you can see that there are new changes that are made. So first, all the backups, all the blocks are backed up, right? All the dirty blocks will be backed up. And then you guys see that the backups from the previous day would be merged into the current image copy backup. Are you guys seeing that?
Yes.
Do you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then on day 4, the changes made, the change blocks, right, would be merged into the image copy backup on day 4. So that it would basically look like the recovery time will be, of course, much faster, right? Because we almost have full backup. So the changes would be applied on the next day. So the changes, the blocks change would merge into the image copy backups. Are we good?
Can you please go over it again one more time, please?
Okay. So on day 1, right, there is a level 0 backup, right? So this is normal image copy backup, right? Now, on day 2, there are changes made to the database. So there are change blocks, right, that are backed up, right? And then that's it for day 2. The blocks, there is a level 1 incremental backup that is done, right? And then, where it gets interesting, on day 3, there are more changes made to the database, right? So level 1 incremental backup takes place again. But you guys can see that the changes, the incremental level 1 backup, right, is going to be applied to the image copy backup from day 1. So that it would look like, it would basically look like a level 0 backup. Are you guys following?
Yeah.
And same here, on day 4, the changes made on day 3 would be merged into the image copy backup. Are we good?
Okay, so on day 2 and on day 2, it looks like on day 2 and day 3, it looks like they're differential backups. But then on day 3, there's also like a how do you call it? Cumulative backup as well.
But in this case, right, it only talks about differential. So it doesn't specify whether cumulative, right, or differential. Are we good?
No.
Here, it only talks about incremental backups. Oops, I went, okay. So it's just level 1 incremental backup. So before going into cumulative and differential, it's good to understand first that the backups made, right, the level 1 backups made merge into the image copy. Because a cumulative backup on its own doesn't merge. It wouldn't merge into level 0 backup. It doesn't merge. It's just that it backs up the changes since level 0. If we had, all of them actually differential, because if we had changes made, if it was cumulative, it would have backed up since level 0. So it wouldn't have.
Yeah, you're right.
You see? So they're actually all differential, right? Okay, if it was cumulative, if we would have that one and that one. We have both, because we would have backed up all the changes since level 0. But here, what we have is that it merges into the image copy backup.
Make it like a full database backup.
Excuse me?
I said to make it like a level 0 backup.
You're right. It merged into the level 0 backup. Are we good?
Okay, so does that mean that on day 3, that updated backup can be done at any time, any point in time, right? But then the backup on day 4 can also be done at any point in time because it's from the previous day.
What do you mean done?
Like, as in, like, you can back, since it's from the previous day, is only information from the previous day, so you can even do the backup in the morning.
Right.
Okay.
It's the backup from the previous that are applied. So there is no new backup that is made. It's still the backup from day 1, right? It's just that the changes are merged. The blocks, the change blocks would merge into the image copy. Are we good?
Yeah.
So in that case, the recovery would be very fast. You just need to apply the changes made on that same day, right? And use the image copy backups, and boom, that's it, right?
Right.
Minimal downtime. Are we good?
Yeah.
Incrementally updated disk backups. It is suited for database that can tolerate no more than few hours of RTO. So minimal downtime. Environments where this can be allocated for one time. So that's if you have enough disk space, right? Database or most critical table space. Backup strategy. Initial image copy to FRA. So you back up to the FRA, followed by daily incremental backups. You roll forward copy with incremental to produce new on-disk copy. So by using the roll forward, that's when you merge the incremental level 1 into the level 1. Okay. Full backup archive to tape. Now you archive the level 0 backup, so the backup done, right, to tape. And then archive logs are backed up and retained on disk as needed, and fast recovery from disk, or switch to use image copies. Are we good?
Emma, you're sure you don't want to give this exam on Wednesday instead?
Why?
I mean,
Still,
it's 10 o'clock and we haven't finished this chapter.
This chapter should be done today. We'll be done with this today.
It's 10 o'clock.
Yes, but we are okay. Are we good with that page?
It's 10. Oh.
We should be done within 5.
5.
Are we good?
It's okay. Yes.
Are we good with this?
Nope.
Okay. Why no?
Chair, you're fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Go.
We fine.
Okay.
Ah.
So this is right. So it's the same. Configure device to tape. So we cover copy of database with tag. So this is basically just the script. It's just an example of a script that can be done when you use the incremental updated backup, right?
Yeah.
So depends here. Image copy, then incremental backup daily, right? Then roll forward copy and create new incremental backup. Are we good? And you can back up the FRA to tape if needed. Backup recovery area to tape. Are we good?
Yes. So in the exam, right, you want us to pick from one of these methods that your
No,
strategies.
In chapter 7 or 8, we talked about backup strategies.
Yeah, we did, but all we really did was like create scripts to backup.
Exactly, that's what it is. It's just that those scripts needs to match your SLA, but you don't really have an SLA here, right? You already have those scripts. That's why it's coming for the exam. That's why I put it in there. It's just that this chapter is basically to help you how to talk about this and to understand what you're doing.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, we're almost done. Unmanned backup strategy overview. Full backups. Online or offline backup. Faster restore. Higher overhead on servers. So you guys know that full backups, it requires a lot of resources, but we already talked about it. And it can be done online or offline, right? And the restoration is fast because you don't need to apply the mini incremental backups to it. Now, image copy or backup set. So you can perform a full backup of image copy or backup set. Image copy must be on disk, as we said earlier, same size as database, less 10 files. Backup set can be on disk or tape or cloud, smaller than the image copy, and they can be compressed. Now, incremental backups reduces the backup window, so the backups take less time, reduce overhead on the server, so it requires less resources. Ideal with low, medium range, so it's only good to use it if your database is not many changes are made to the database. You enable blockchain tracking for fast incremental backups, and of course, the database must be in archive log mode. So incrementally updated backups, disk only, recovery window 1 to 7 days. This is like just a recap. Incremental forever strategy after initial copy, right? Now, full incremental backup strategy, disk or tape, typically weekly, fulls, and daily incrementals. Retention on disk, days to weeks, and tape, weeks to years, and they can also be compressed. Are we good?
Please, I have a question. Going back to image copies, it says same size as database, less 10 files. What do you mean by that?
Meaning that image copies, you guys know that it backups all the files, right? Except for the 10 files.
Really?
Yes. 10 files are not that important. I mean, want to do temporary transactions, but even if you delete the 10 file, it wouldn't really see it as really an error. You can just recreate any other 10 file because it doesn't contain data, right? It's only for temporary jobs. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it doesn't, like, if you lose your 10 file, it doesn't really matter.
Yes, it doesn't. Because they're only used for temporary jobs. So as soon as the job is done, the data are gone. Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. Pulling all of these concepts together. Okay. Recovery is king, right? So here we have our master DBA from the evening class helping the CEO of the company, right? Okay.
Yep. That must be care.
Recovery plan and schedule recovery testing. Okay. Documented recovery plan. So this is basically saying that you just don't guess the recovery plan. You have to sit down and write it down. Doesn't count if it's just in your head, right? So you need to write down and think about it, right? And write it down. Best practice, schedule monthly full recovery test. So sometimes it's good to test the database or fake instant recovery, right? To make sure that, okay, if something happens, you should be able to quickly recover the database, right? Now, those are just advice, right? Next best thing to best practice, object level recovery and block corruption monthly. So you test object level recovery table, right? Rows, even all the table spaces and stuff. Full database recovery semi-annually. So twice a year, perform full database recovery. You practice at least, you try to see, but not on the prod database though. on a database, maybe on a clone of that database or on another database that has the same characteristics as your database. Are we good? Refresh environments using RMAN. Restore, validate quarterly.
Does that mean restore, validate quarterly?
It's basically to check if your database is if the backups, for example, are good, can be used, right? I think we used it last time in last class.
Yeah.
Yes, we use restore, validate to check if, okay, are those backups good? Can they be used to restore the database? Are we good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thinking out of the box. Next, best thing to best practice. Restore, validate quarterly. So quarterly means 4 times a year. Object level recovery and block corruption monthly. Full database recovery annually. So you need to at least try, test it annually.
Something, if not, don't call me on weekend.
Are we good?
Yes. If not, don't call me
Yeah,
on the weekend at 2 a.m.
Yeah, if not, don't call me on the weekend at 2 a.m. Yes. Restore, validate allows you to see if they are corrupt. Okay. RMAN, restore, validate. Test whether RMAN can restore a specific file or set of files from a backup, right? So you can use restore database, validate, restore archive, or validate. So you check if they can be used, if the backup you have can be used. It's actually good practice so that some people wouldn't crash their database so often, right? Because you're using a backup that is completely useless and your surprise database is crashed. Okay, this takes about as long and use as much overhead as a traditional restore operation, less time writing to disk. So to reduce impact, reduce the number of RMAN channels. You guys know that the more channels you have, the more it takes resources, right? Right?
Oh, what?
The more you allocate channels, the more it takes resources. Yeah. Yes, except that it is faster. Okay.
7 channels.
Yes.
Okay, we're done with that page. Next.
Now, this is just for service level agreement. Customer example, Oracle solution, RMAN, OSB.
What's OSB?
Oracle certified, Oracle secured backup. Yes, Oracle secured backup. Data guard. You guys heard about data guard, right?
Yeah.
No. DRA.
DRA, data recovery advisor, like RMAN. It's a bit like RMAN. It would allow you to identify detect the failures and analyze the database, basically.
Okay.
So one-time image copy backups to FRA, daily differential incremental backup to FRA, image copy roll forward, right, daily, FRA size for 1 image copy backups plus 4 incrementals plus 4 days of archive logs, daily backup of FRA to tape via OSB, Oracle secured backups, daily vaulting of tape backups to offsite location. Offsite location simply mean to tape, for example. Real-time synchronized physical standby database in maximum performance mode for disaster recovery. So this is for when you set up data guard. And leverage DRA for real-time detection and analysis of failures. Are we good?
Mm-hmm.
You guys can always go back and come back on Wednesday and ask questions about this.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the last page. We are done. Putting it all together. Requirement. What's RPO again? Recovery point objective, right? any point in time within the recovery window. For that one, we use the archive log. I mean, the database needs to be in archive log mode, right? For you to be able to perform okay, you need archive log mode. Now for RTO, recovery time objective, there are 3 different tiers. Actually, there are more than that, maybe 7 or 8. So when you want to recover your database, table space or data file, right, within less than an hour, right? Where do you go to? You can use RMAN, OSB, or FRA, right? Now, if you have less than 3 hours for full database recovery, you can use flashback table, right?
Okay, yeah.
Less than 3 hours, right? If you have less than 30 minutes to recover a table within the last hour, right? You can use flashback table. I'm sorry. 3 hours of full database recovery, you can use RMAN, OSB, or FRA. This is less than 3 hours. Now, if you have less than 30 minutes for rows table, that's for flashback table. If you have less than 1 hour for database recovery from logical errors within the last 2 hours, you can use flashback database, right? Mm-hmm. And if you have less than 15 minutes for any database outage, you can use data guard, right? So those are the different options that we have here. Less than 1 hour to recover the load. You guys know that you cannot use flashback database if you have corrupt files, right? Or if you drop a table space, or you have missing files. Yes, so it's only logical. And depending on your flashback retention target. Now, disaster recovery, failover to standby database at secondary site. So this is in case of a natural disaster, data guard, or OSB, right? Oracle Secure Backup sent offsite, right? So use the backup that was sent from offsite, basically, elsewhere, on a different data center, or that was sent to tape or to cloud, and restore from them. Now, retention policy, on-site backups, 3-day recovery window, fast recovery area, right? Or Oracle secured backups. Offsite backups, 1 year tape retention, right? Now, for the backup redundancy, 2 backup copies on tape, you can use Oracle secured backups. Are we good? This is basically it. You guys can go back and read, but I'm pretty sure we are good with the most important part of it.
Well, I have a few questions concerning the exam.
Sure.
Question 6, it is asking you to create a table in Sunshine schema called test to look exactly like the view DBA underscore advisor underscore object underscore type.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that it's a view.
So create a table as a view.
Create a table that would contain the same data as that view.
So you don't have, will you create a table as select all? No, can you do that?
I don't know. That's for you to figure out. Right?
Okay.
Right? You can handle it.
Okay, and I have another question. If you can just quickly circle back on question 38, is like, why do you use transportable table spaces to migrate data instead of regular data pump?
Yes. We talked about that.
Yeah, we did, but I don't know.
We transport the metadata, we export and import the metadata, and we copy the data files.
Okay. Whereas data pump, you don't copy the metadata.
What do you mean copy the meta? You don't copy the data files, right? Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, we don't copy the data. We don't copy for data pump. But I want you guys to first go over it, and then we'll talk about it when you on Wednesday. I think it's best if you talk about it after everybody went and did some research.
We'll talk about that on Monday, right?
On Wednesday.
After the exam.
This thing, everyone.
The goal is to challenge you guys. That's the goal. If I give you the answer now, how is it going to be challenging? Right?
Put some kind of name that thing.
Wait. So, can you give us a clue, like on that question 6?
Question 6. Let me check.
Yeah.
Actually, I shouldn't even be giving
the view.
Yes.
Can you give us a clue?
Okay. But Anita, you can handle it. You can, I'm sure come on, you're senior DBA almost. You can handle it. What we think is not possible is actually possible. Okay.
Okay.
I think I gave you the answer. So.
You gave me the answer?
I just did. I said what you think is not possible is actually possible.
Really?
Oh, okay. So select as.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay, I'll try it out.
Okay. You'd say it's possible.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Okay, I'm glad you do. But share with the morning class, please, because I didn't give them the tip. Okay. We good?
Okay. So how many databases should we delete from our servers?
You can delete all of them. I mean, not all of them. Don't delete ORCL and TLSDMO, but all the other ones, ORCL2, ORCL3, TLSDMO, refresh, all those, you can delete them.
Even our database from DB1.
Why are you still using?
Why do you still have that one?
Why do you have that database?
Prof said it was our class database. Prof said our class database.
You're on DB2 now.
Not just your first database. I understand that that's attached to that database.
He said, don't joke with your class database. Do anything on your other database. so we are still keeping it.
You can drop it, yes, you can.
I'm doing anything. I'm not touching that database.
I understand. You're still attached to it.
I'm telling you.
So Emerald,
I'm even afraid.
So when you delete a database, right, and it was registered into Arman catalog, it automatically takes it out from there, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Emma, I have a question.
Sure.
On backup-based application, there is something I don't understand. When making the schema, right? There's no saying my question is stupid because I don't understand. Do you need to register the target database?
You need to register a target. If you're doing a backup-based application and you connect to the recovery catalog, it means that it is registered to the recovery catalog, the target database. We're talking target in terms of Arman, right? When doing the backup base. So the source database should be registered.
No, I'm talking about the target one, like the database you're trying to clone.
The auxiliary? No, the auxiliary doesn't need to be registered because it's not even created yet. How can it be registered?
Exactly, it is not yet created. But one day I was doing it, and the error I had an error. I was trying to report the schema. The error I got was that the target database is not found in recovery catalog.
Yes, the target database should be found in the recovery catalog if you connect to perform a backup-based duplication. It should be okay. I think maybe here we are confusing target and source.
Auxiliary and the source, yeah.
Sure, I'm sorry confused.
Because the target database is like the database which you want to use to clone another database. That one must be connected, right?
Yeah, it is on that database that I am doing the report scheme, like that I am issuing the report schema command.
But you know that you don't absolutely need the recovery catalog to do that, right? You know that you can just do it like this without recovery catalog. But still, we talk. I know we talked about source and target database. We do talk about this, but for Arman backup-based duplication, the target database is the source and the auxiliary is the target. So it's good to have this confusion out of the way.
Okay. So I created my catalog on that database, and on the same database I do report schema. And when I get that error, non-database must be found in the recovery catalog, since it is where my that's where I created my recovery catalog. It's supposed to be there. But it tells me that my target database is not found in the recovery catalog.
Did you register your recovery catalog database? You know that you cannot do that, right?
No.
I can.
Yes.
You will register the
database you created a catalog with you don't need to register that database, right? Because it's automatically registered.
Excuse me?
I'm asking, like, for example, TLS DMO, you use it to create your catalog.
Yes.
After creating the catalog with TLS DMO, you don't have to register TLS DMO again, right?
No.
Exactly. That's what I thought that because I told
But Emerald,
because it's the catalog database.
And you have, if you want to use another database, you instead need to register other database to that catalog.
Right.
So Emerald, why are they telling me that my target database is not found in the recovery catalog? Meanwhile, I am using the database.
It's not registered in the recovery catalog. Oh, I think I see. The problem you have is what Anita had last time. Sometimes when you connect to the recovery catalog and you connect, you use Arman target / catalog, right? It will basically register another database, usually TSM or ORCL, and it will give both databases the same DB ID. So that whatever you try to do to TSM, it will tell you that the database is not found in recovery catalog because it changed the DB unique name. So your recovery catalog database and the other database have the same DB ID.
So now she has to unregister the other one.
Register one of the two. Yes.
Please,
and register and don't connect to the recovery catalog by using Arman target / catalog. It will just mess things up. Are you good?
Okay. Okay, so Emma, what is the cross check, or what is that command you use for example? Because I did cross check or when I had that error.
Okay, cross check, basically your Arman is checking if the files that are in the control files or in the recovery catalog are still available physically. So it will check and compare, okay, those ones are available, those ones are not. So, and then it will identify if some of them are expired, right? And then you will be able to delete, because Arman wouldn't know. Let's go, you go to your FRA and you just delete some backups, right? Also some archive logs. Arman wouldn't know until you cross-check.
Okay.
So it's just used to check the consistency between the Arman metadata and the physical.
Renata, when you did a cross-check, did you solve the issue?
No, it didn't.
Oh, okay.
Cross-check does not solve any issue. It's what you do after cross-checking that will fix the problem.
No, I know. I just wanted to know, like, you know.
Okay.
So Emerald, when you ask me to unregister a database, like for example, if I want to see my Hickory catalog, I'll see on the Scott database, right? If
Yeah.
I want, is there a way to see my the registered database, all the database I've registered?
List DB_unique_name or.
Say it again, Emerald, please.
List
Okay.
space DB
Hold on. It's too fast.
Okay, that one. I was looking for that comment.
Emerald, can you say it again?
Okay, it's list space DB_unique UNIQUE_name NAME space no underscore, just space or ALL.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Are we good? And you should see that you have two databases with the same DB ID after issuing that comment.
So I'll register all the data. I'll just
only register one of the database that share the same DB ID. It will register. Yes. The other ones are fine. Just the one with the DB ID issue. Are we good? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think we're good for today. Right? See you guys on Monday and get ready. Practice. Just practice. I know you guys are the best. So I'm not worried.
You know, in the evening time, the system is slow.
I know.
And then there's a lot of backup to do.
And you say we have to start on Monday. You have to do something. You said something like we have to do something before the exam.
Yeah, at the end. I think it's best if we do it at the end. At the end.
You will have to stop us while someone will be thinking to finish the question.
I told you which end.
Okay, exam. But I promise I'll give you the same exam. I won't make any change to what I gave you guys. I will make some changes, but they will be the same script. You just edit.
Emma, that means I can start my exam today.
That's smart.
You can start your exam today, exactly.
We'll check time. That's cheating now. That's cheating.
Are we good? Okay. So see you guys on Monday.
And you have a blessed weekend.
Thank you too, Mary. All of you guys. God bless you.
Thank you.
God bless you too.
Thank you.